Okay. So I expect that you can see the first PowerPoint slide called Data Analytics in Finance and Accounting. And you may wonder why you see two professors and not one. And the truth is there is no professor here. And the simple, and that is also the reason why we are two. The simple reason is that I did some programming many, many years ago. I was fairly advanced in doing complex mathematical computations, but that has nothing to do with data analytics and finance. And when I prepared the course together with Zazan, I realized that I'm a complete idiot and I'm a student myself. So why is Zazan on my side not a professor? Well, simply because he is a student himself. He is an advanced PhD student, and the most knowledgeable person that I know in terms of programming and data analytics and machine learning and many related stuff, but he is still a student. And for you, you should understand and know that Zaza Mazuri doesn't have any obligation to teach any course. PhD students at Goethe University usually don't teach courses. So this is really a project that we do for passion only. There is no obligation. It's a fun project, and I hope you will enjoy the fun. It is. Let me jump to the next slide. It's innovative and it's a new course, but it's not only a new course. It's the first time ever that Zazan will teach a course, and he is the expert and he will do the teaching. So my first wish and expectation to all the students: be patient, because if you teach something for the first time, if you don't know what students already know, where they have problems, there may be many fails by the lecturers, and therefore this is a kind of experiment, where we all have to learn on how to teach such a course successfully. I think it's a course urgently needed, and the large amount of students' interest show how urgently it is. Of course, we deeply believe that data analytics applications are a very important part both of modern research and of a preparation for a practical job in the industry, since so many companies do more and more with data analytics. What we want to help you is not become good programmers, but basically learn what kind of techniques exist and how you can apply these techniques in the area of finance and accounting. So you should understand some basics of programming, but ideally, you find the right code, the right computer software library on the web, and then apply this code to your data, and analyze the problem that you have. So this is our viewpoint. And of course, the more advanced your topics become, if you're really in research, or if you are really in front edge machine learning applications, you may realize that there is no code on the whole internet and you have to program something yourself. But in 99% of the cases, somebody else did already the job. And the whole task is to bring the ends together, to find an interesting topic, to find an interesting data set, to understand the data set, and then to apply a good data analysis technology, and of course, in the end, also to understand the results. It is easy to start to press the start button and let some computer code run onto your data. It is very difficult to really understand the limitations and the meanings of the results. So given that this is a completely innovative and new thing, it is clear that we all want to help each other. So students help lecturers, lecturers help students, students help each other. It's really a collaborative kind of learning experience that we want to do. And therefore, we really expect you and ask you to contribute, to also make proposals how to improve the course over the long run. Zazan will soon become a postdoc, and then becomes an official lecturer. And then, of course, he plans to continue this course. Yeah, so you are the kind of guinea pig students, the first time students, and hopefully help to make this course great. A few words about Zazan. He's a PhD student, as I said, in his own research. Please have a look in his papers. Yeah, he's a very heavy user of both textual analysis, that basically is language programming, and machine learning, which comes on top of this. In his CV, he says NLP, this stands for natural language processing. This coding is my #1 hobby. I know very few people that say that have this kind of hobby. His background is an engineer. The Sharif University in Tehran is the leading engineering university in Iran. Only the best students get admitted there, and trust me that Zazan is a brilliant mind. But after that, he started completely from scratch, anew at Goethe University, becoming an economist or a business administration guy. Because engineering really doesn't help you a lot. But he brought with him, of course, a lot of programming experience. Now he mastered the Master of Quantitative Economics, which is basically at Goethe University a part of our PhD program. So after 2 years, you get the master, and then you continue with your PhD. Every one of you who is interested in pursuing a PhD, this master program is really one of the entry doors into the PhD program, which Zazan took. And on the bottom of the slide, you see a copy and paste from his CV. And you see that there are many things where I sometimes have no idea what actually is this about. What are his capabilities? At least he claims that these are his capabilities. But of course, even if you know a lot, that still doesn't mean that you really apply it to all kind of problems. That this is in no way comprehensive, of course. In IT, everybody is starting somewhere. Is hopefully progressing a lot and benefiting a lot and learning a lot. We deeply believe that bringing this experience and this knowledge to students helps a lot. And having said this, I want to hand over to Zazan, who guides us through the rest of the slides. I will be an active student myself in this course. Of course, being a professor by title, I am lastly responsible for grading. So I will sign the grading sheet. But my hope is that I can learn like you from this course. I'm eager to become a data analyst myself. And hopefully I find enough time this semester to really do everything. So I'm very curious to see whether in my age it's still possible to learn all that stuff. But the floor is Zazan's.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark, for your kind words. So there's no need for me to introduce myself anymore. So let's jump into why we have data analytics here. First of all, about the class. So I see some people raise their hands. So if you have any questions, you can just unmute yourself and start talking. This is the first thing. And second, we appreciate if you open your video camera and then we can see your faces. So yeah, that's great. Thank you. Okay, so first,
just for you to know, if you talk to only black tiles, that is an awkward experience. It's not necessary that everybody is on video, but at least so many pages such that Zazan can see in your eyes, whether you understand. Exactly. And if you just shake your head or nod or look satisfied, then this is an important feedback for Zazan that guides him through the presentation. Thanks.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so let's first ask what is data? So I don't know if any of you have any definition of data in mind, so feel free to just open your mics. Yeah, don't be shy. Usually there is no, when I ask questions, there's no right or wrong answer. So there are 70 people. And I expect someone knows what is data.
We can simply use the chat if you don't want to speak up. Then just open the chat window and type.
I would say data is a collection of information. It can consist of numbers, pictures, and so all sorts of information.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, good.
I would say that data is the minimum unit of information. So information is made up of data points, which, as Vladislav just mentioned, and data could be a number, a measure of something, or a location, for example, coordinates. Yeah.
That's, yeah, exactly. So basically we could say that the data is like the factual information about something. So, and it could have lots of forms, as you said. So it could be pictures, it could be numbers, and many other things. So the type of data that we work in this course with is like those information that are stored in kind of data tables. So like, for example, a CSV file or an Excel file is already a data, and it contains observations that are identified by some observation number or identification numbers, and there are some variables. So for example, what data you stored on, so what you have some data. And if you have like many of these tables, then you could call them data sets, which is like a broader definition of the data table. And so this is basically what you get as an input. And then why we need the data is to just start to ask questions and get the answers we are interested in, okay? And why we do data analytics here, because when you get some data, they are not usually ready for doing this kind of inference that we need at the end. So in order to be able to ask some questions about the data, we need to make sure that data is clean enough, and the collection process of the data was clear enough, everything was correct, the structure of the data makes sense, and we should start some visualization to make sure that there are some certain correlations exist in the data, and then we can start on the inference. So we can ask our questions basically. So what we are doing in this course, so first of all, this is a course that is designed for advanced master students. And what do I mean by advanced master students? You should know a minimum prior knowledge of programming. I don't expect you to know Python, all of you, but I expect you to know something related at least. So R, MATLAB, Julia, whatever. So if you don't know any programming, this is not a right course for you. The second thing is you need to know some knowledge in accounting and finance, because all the grading that we are doing at the end is depending on your finance or accounting knowledge. So we expect you to provide your insights about the data, about the results, and so on. So you need to have some accounting and finance background. And finally, you need to be open to learn. So what do I mean? So usually the courses, when the courses are designed, there are like some time limits that you can spend this amount of work on the homework, this amount of hours on the teaching materials and so on. Here, we don't provide any hours, and we assume that you're open to make it to unlimited somehow, because sometimes there are like things that some part of the course that you cannot run it, and you need to go through internet, search it a lot, ask your friends and so on. So yeah, this is kind of situation that you may end up in, and that's why I need you to be open to learning more and discovering more. So what we are doing in the course, we do all the teaching materials in Python. So we basically give you some Jupyter notebooks, and I will show you what is Jupyter notebook in a moment. And the reason I choose Python, because it is an open source kind of thing, and you don't need to pay for it. If you are going to convince your boss in the future that let's have some Python things, the costs are zero. So their content costs, I mean. And then the other thing is the similarity of Python to the natural language. So you can say, just print this, or just go through this and do that. So it's like more intuitive to learn it. And at the same time, it has a multi-platform ability. So it doesn't matter if you use a Mac PC, or like a Windows computer or a Linux. If you have your own Raspberry Pi device that you want to program it or make your robots, it's all possible in Python. And most important thing is the cloud computing integration, because in the like nowadays, and also what I see in the future, there are codes that you cannot run on your PC, and you need some big servers to run your codes on. And that's why integration with cloud computing is a very important part of a language. No, it's like, I think there's some problem with this.
No, Phil raises his hand.
Yeah, but it was like there. So I don't know if the student Phil, I lower the hand, but if you have any question, just open your, open your mic. And the other thing is that for Python, you'll find a great community. So if you just have any questions, so if you have a part of the code doesn't run on your PC, you just copy paste it on Google, you will find lots of people who like basically answered your question already. So the community is great. As Mark said, there are lots of available solutions with lots of packages and libraries. So you can you don't need to invent the wheel yourself. So there is like, whenever you have the some question in mind, you can break it to some pieces, and for each of these pieces there are already solutions. So there are all the good things about Python, but the thing is, so I don't expect you to be fluent in Python. So if you are better in R, for example, or in Julia, I don't mind if you do all your homeworks and all your case studies in other languages. The other thing is that, so all these positive things that I said about Python, they are applying also to R at least. And but the reason I chose Python, because it was a master course, and if you are going to work in the industry, people usually use Python. And but for example, if I had the PhD course to teach, maybe it was I choosing R because it's like more research oriented, but it's still Python has the goods of both worlds. So that's why we choose Python, and we will focus on this on the course. And we will do all the materials officially in Python. There's just two things that I need to mention here, that this is not a programming course. So we will do some programming. I will teach you some programming, but this is not a pure programming course. So if you think that if you're a great programmer from IT department, you can get a good grade here, it's not true, because you need to have some insights in finance and accounting in order to solve the things that we ask you. And at the end, it's also not a machine learning course. So as I said here, so the machine learning part is just the inference in the process of data analytics. And we just touch it a bit, but we will not go into the details of machine learnings, because I think there are many great courses available there that you can just start machine learning. But before that, you need to know how to use the data, how to collect the data, and how to clean it. And otherwise, it will be a garbage in, garbage out. And so that's why you need such a course before having some machine learning courses. And by the way, there are some great machine learning courses in the university. So by the econometrics department, and in marketing departments. So if you're interested, you can also search for them. Yeah, that's it here. So more about the course. So we don't have any final exam. So it will be basically case assignments and some video projects that I will explain in a bit. And what we have here that is different from a normal course is that we have lots of exercises, And for these exercises, you need to do some collaborations with your peers. You need to discuss it in a class forum. Have you solved this? If you have a problem, not to solve them. And these exercises are not graded. So it's just your self-commitment to learn more deeply how to program. And yeah, you should also help your peers, because we don't have the time here to discuss all the bugs that you will get in your codes and all the problems that you cannot, for example, run this part of the code. So the course is also focused on finance and accounting applications. It's also a research-oriented kind of course. So it's a perfect foundation for your master thesis in the future. And also, if you have some plans to do a PhD, for sure you need to have this course, because this will help you a lot doing your future research. And then I expect you to build on other people's work. So you use public libraries. You should search through GitHub. If you can find any code there, that would be perfect. I don't expect you to do every piece of code yourself. So the more you do that, the better, in my mind, you're solving the problems. And finally, what is very important about this course is that we are keen to real world applications. So we have many guest speakers, and like most of these guest speakers, they brought their own cases, real world cases with themselves. So the case studies that you have is just prepared by professionals, and you will maybe see something similar if you apply for some jobs in the future. So that's the important part of the course, and that's why I expect you to be very active in the case that we have some guest speakers here. And yeah, I will elaborate more on this in the next slides. Just to divide the workload that we have here, there's no clear cut here, but what I can say that in the first quarter of the course, we do lots of programming exercises. So I want to make sure that we are all on the same kind of level of programming at the end of the first quarter. So that's why we have lots of exercises that you need to discuss, and you need to like put lots of time on them, especially if you don't have good programming skill. So the first quarter of the course is like mostly exercise. And then in the second and third quarter, you will be more focused on your case studies. So we will introduce the case studies into these quarters, and then we will try our best to don't have that much exercises left. And at the fourth quarter, so because you're we are going to have at the end of the semester, you need to prepare for your other courses, final exams. That's why I try to reduce the workload that you will have here, and you will have more guest speakers and less kind of case studies or exercises for yourself. So I think this is something that, based on the feedbacks we get from the other courses, students like it when they are like, they have a clear desk at the end of the semester that give them free time to study the final exams of the other courses.
So that also implies that you have a quite stressful time, in the second and the third quarter of the semester. This is basically the heavy duty period of time, that also where your grade will also depend on.
Exactly. Yeah. You need to manage to survive in the first 3 quarters of the course, and then hopefully by the fourth quarter you don't need to to prepare a lot. So in case you're still interested into the course, you need to go through 3 steps. So first, you need to register on QIS, and if you're an exchange student, you need to talk with the international office. So this is the first step that is like not very related to me. But for the second step, I just need to check if you have some pre-knowledge in programming. So that's why I ask you to fill this this Collab page. Let me share my screen. So basically, if you click on this, you will go to a kind of a Jupyter notebook that is hosted on Google Collab page. So you don't need to do anything. You just need to log in with a Gmail account. If you don't have a Gmail account, just create one for this course. And then you just need to go through it. You should start running this code. So by just clicking onto this bottom here. So this is connected first, okay, and then you run this part, and then this is some parts that you need to fill yourself. Yeah.
Is it running now?
It's running now, yeah. And then you need to just do something here. I'll ask you to calculate the 20th number of Fibonacci series, and this is a very easy stuff at the end, hopefully. And then I need you to calculate the golden ratio based on Fibonacci series. So I saw some people already solve this issue, and they just put some number here. That's not what I ask you. So I don't want you to just write a number here and then it prints itself. Just try to solve it based on the hint that I have here, and just put your data here. I need your email address at least. To be in touch with you, and at the end you need to just save the file here as a PY file, and then you just upload it into the Dropbox folder that I have here, so I can see your mostly your name and your email address and so on. Good. I guess, yeah. And finally, in the third step, you need to sign up for Piazza, and I'll show you in a moment what is how you can do that in Piazza. So this is basically our forum for the course. Yeah. So what we are doing for the grading, so the grading would be 90% based on 3 or 4 writing assignments. So or in other words, case studies. So this kind of case study should be prepared in a Jupyter notebook kind of thing. So you will have the ability to write your comments, put your code there, and then I should be able to run through your codes and see what did you do. We try our best to give you at least 2 weeks of time for each of the cases. And so it is like at the end less important how much your coding skills are. As I said, you're allowed to copy paste from wherever in the internet. So the coding part is not the important part, but how you interpret economically your analysis is the most important part. And this is what your grades are based on. And
Zaza, one question: if people use open source code or libraries, how do you see what is the own student's contribution and what is just copy and paste?
How I see it is like, if you can find a genius solution on the internet, this is part of how genius you are. So I'm fine with that. So if you find just something in the internet, provided that you cite them,
and you look it up into the code. Yeah, whether
yeah,
there
sure,
was a function call or a library call.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I will go through your codes line by line for sure. But at the end, your interpretation. So it's mostly a case study in economic department. So I don't grade your coding. It's not an IT course. So that's basically the plan here. So I have someone in chat. I will show you in a moment how you can do that, how you should code online codes. I will show you in a moment. Then the next 10% of the grading is based on your video projects. So basically there you record via Zoom. So you just open your Zoom and record yourself for 10 or 20 minutes. And there are like possible topics that I will announce in the 3rd week of the course. So after we are finalized how many students are enrolled in the class, so we can divide the topics there. When is the deadline for submitting the registration work? Like hopefully after you decided you want to take the course, but I don't mind that you have still one week time for that. But this Piazza thing that I'm just going to introduce, you need to do it tonight because like latest tonight, because this is like the only communication channels that I have with you. And then there I can send you emails and so on. So you need to be registered there. Otherwise you won't get my emails or my messages. So that's basically it.
Yeah, so some of the students may say, I start here and maybe after 2 or 3 weeks, I would like to do my final decision, whether I stay or whether I leave. Would this be fine? Or is there a kind of process where students can say, I no longer take place? Because we can switch to the classroom only if we have a size of 36. And I think in the end, there will be no more than 36 students left over.
Yeah.
The question is, if everybody basically is asked to register on Piazza, then you don't know after 3 weeks who is still there.
In Piazza, if you like, I think you can just deregister yourself easily with a button. If you don't want to get the emails and notifications anymore, it's easy to do that. But yeah, like that's the only channel that I have. Like if after the class I want to send something to you, Piazza is the only channel that I have. So still I don't have any email address of you or a list of you. So that's why Piazza is the most important part. Okay, so for summarizing this, basically, once you register with the Prüfungsamt for the exam, of course, there was no way back. But everything else is basically more or less informal. We will see on Piazza who is actually active in there. And if you haven't been logging in for 1 week, we expect that you're basically out. And there was no formal date when you have to sign in. If you don't sign in, you don't receive any information. And signing out basically can be done by no longer looking on the platform, no longer contributing something. That's also possible.
So that's easy to do.
Just another. Are the students already online? Yes, they are online. So let me finish this slide and then I address this. So just one point on the video project. So the topics of the video projects, I have it in the next slide. But on the bonus part, let's see. So the one other thing about the Piazza is that I can see your contribution to the course. So how much you are active in solving the others' problem and asking your questions yourselves. So for those students that are the most active students in the Piazza forum, we will consider a one-step improvement into their final grades. So for example, if you are 1.3, we will give you 1.0 and so on. And also as a necessary condition, if you want to have like kind of a recommendation letter at the end of the course that you were in the course, we only give it to the active students in the Piazza. As I said, it's a necessary condition, it's not a sufficient one, but you need to consider this as well. Okay, so let's discuss more about the video projects. These video projects are produced individually or in teams. So this is something that we will announce in the third week when we are sure how many students there are and how many topics we have. So we can then decide if it is individual assignment or a team thing. And then the range of topics are probably some libraries in Python, some websites, interesting websites for data analytics, or some data science topics that I ask you to just prepare a 10-minute presentation. And then you produce the videos because, so this is part of your grading, first of all, and then the other students can learn from you. And then the most important thing is just learning the data analytics with Python is such a diverse world that we cannot address everything in the class. So that's why this will give us an additional chance to cover most of important things that we won't have the time to cover in the course. That's basically the idea of this part. And about the cases, so the solution of the cases will be provided in the class after the deadline. So this is the only place you can learn about the case solutions.
The solution is your suggested solution.
Yeah, there's
This
not
is only one of many solutions.
Yeah, exactly. There's no right or wrong usually. Yeah, so this is basically the things that we are doing in the class. And but we will not, after the class, discuss the solutions privately. And I think it just changed the slide. Yeah, and the grading of the cases will be at the end of the course, at the end, and it's obvious that we will never bargain or negotiate for the grades. So, but I just need to mention it here again.
I think everybody should understand that, of course, everybody has many, many questions and would like to discuss with Zazan about his individual approach and and where they failed or why it didn't work and so on. Yeah, it is simply impossible. Yeah, it is too much time, too much engagement for Zazan. Yeah, it was a hell of work for Zazan to prepare all this course. If he would spend more time on discussing your individual case contributions, he simply wouldn't have time for his own PhD thesis. Please accept, that is something that we cannot offer. It would be nice, and we would love to do it, but it is beyond our time capacity.
Yeah, exactly. So there's just one question I hear.
Could you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Sorry to interrupt. So does it mean that it's not possible to make a talking hour with you, make an appointment with you?
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
So does it mean that we cannot make an appointment with you to talk about the questions that we met?
This class is very interactive, and you can ask all kinds of questions during the classroom time. Quite often, the classroom time will not be completely filled with materials presented by Zazan. And at the end, there will always be some time where people just stay and discuss with each other with Zazan, or leave and sit on their laptop. But we should really limit these kinds of discussions to the classroom time. And when the classroom time is over, Zazan goes to other work.
And also the Piazza forum is just designed for such a thing. So if you have any question about some part of the code that is not running on your PC, or like what would be if I do this, you should just post it on Piazza. Either me or other of your classmates will contribute to this question. And then I can also rank them, and I can also put my comments on your solution. So that's why it is like the most efficient way to address all kind of questions that you will have after the class. That's basically it. But I will focus on Piazza in the next slides. Before that, I just want to remind you that so in the beginning, I have a link here. So this is basically the link to all the course materials. So if you want to see, for example, the slides, they are not yet updated, but if you just open this, you will come to this page, and then basically for each session, I will put everything that we will have. So for example, for this session, so this is like the slides that we are covering now. Then there are some Jupyter notebooks and some homeworks there already. The recorded video will be recorded, and the link will be there after the class, basically. And if there are some further readings, I will also mention it there.
So basically, no material will be posted on OLAT. Everything is on this website, and it's basically a Google Docs document folder that is shared with all the students.
Exactly. Yeah. And this is like the link. And I think the link is already provided in the OLAT. So you can, if you don't find this in the OLAT, you will find this. Yeah, let's talk about Piazza. So how you can just register. So you need to go to the piazza.com unifrankfurt.de. So this is the page for the university. And then you will find your own semester. and then you say, I need to join as a student. So there's like no way other than that to join the course. And so you need a class access code. And this is DAFA 2122. So this is like the code for the course. And usually I will use the same password for zip files that I put there. So this is always our code, okay?
And what is Piazza? A standard forum?
It's just a forum, yeah, exactly. So I can show you, so this is a video that summarizes everything that you'll see there, but I can just show you what you can do in Piazza. So when you open your Piazza page, you usually see in the left part the hot topics or the discussions that are there. So usually they are like an orange or yellow thing that is like the posts that are posted by instructor, which is me. Or if it is green, it means that there's some posts from the students. So we don't have any student posts yet, but still you can see this. So what I have here is basically I need your answer for the homework after the class. So I will show you the homework afterwards. So I need you to write your answer for this function. Basically, you can just start answering. So what you will see here is different from me. You will have some other parts that you can just directly reply to me here. And sometimes you can, if there is a question by the other fellows, you can always rank this by good question or something like that. So other students can just see it if it is ranked better into the left. So this is most important part of the Piazza. Second part, if you have your own question, so you can just make a new post. Sometimes it's a note that you just want to announce something to the class. But mostly you will have some questions. And when you have a question, you can say, yeah, this is a question, and I want it for the entire class. You can just send it to me directly if you want. Then you can select the folder. So there are some case study folder. There's class related. So if you have something about the class notebooks or something like that, you can just put it there. Or if it is about the exercises. So if, for example, it's about homework 1, you can just select homework 1. And basically you can just write a summary and then your question. If you want to have a quote, you can just have a quote here. So this is basically a quote. So this is the way I can, you can just have a very clean kind of questions posted into the Piazza. Yeah, and then you can just post your question, and then it will be in your feed when you open Piazza. There's usually, you can see class at a glance, so you can see there's like no unread post for you. There is just one unanswered question that you need to do. It's about the question that I posted here. It's not yet answered. And everything, all the problems are resolved. So if there is some unresolved questions from your peers, you are encouraged to go there and post your own solutions, or if you want to help.
So is everybody expected to upload his own solution, and is the solution only a number, or is it also the complete approach including the code?
For the non-graded exercises, just usually do this. So for example, I just expect you to give me the like, I just want to make sure that your number is working there. Yeah. And if you solve the question, so they are not graded, but still I want to see if you're engaged into the class or not. So this is a way for me to
so
measure
basically,
this.
Yeah, the intention is just that you should use the forum in order to show your own contribution and commitment, and help each other to learn from this.
Exactly.
So many people would have problems with solving the questions, so they look at more advanced students' approach to the question and learn, oh, this is how I could do it.
Exactly.
Let's try it out. And then also the weaker students get the solution done.
Exactly. Yeah, because usually, so for now, maybe it's all the codes are very straightforward, but when you go a bit in the next weeks, we will face some issues that some part of the codes are not running. For sure, you need to do lots of research. That's why, yeah, you cannot start sending millions of emails to me and I will never find the time to reply all of them. But if you just post everything here, everyone can look at your answers, and you'll benefiting the other students and you get a better grade at the end. Okay. So we will talk more about Piazza in the next weeks. Obviously, as we will have more questions and answers there, I will show more this kind of Piazza thing to you. Yeah, and then how I see your engagement at the end. So when I look at the students' participation report, I can see all your names there, like how many days you were online, how many posts you viewed, how many contributions you made. So basically, it's very easy for me to see how much you are engaged into the class. So that's the whole idea of Piazza. Now, about the resources that we have. So we will have some textbooks, but you don't need to have them, because I'll try my best to include everything you needed into my Jupyter notebooks, or I will provide some links for you that you can just access to the codes that are needed. And then most importantly, you'll also search yourself in the internet. So anyway, we have I have 4 main books that I use for this class. So the first one is Data Analytics for Business Economics and Policy. I think I have the book open somewhere here.
First question is, where do we get the PDFs? Are they openly available or somewhere?
So this book I just ordered for the library of the university, so they bought it. But we have just one for that. So, but I also have this book. Yeah.
You are the only one who has an illegal PDF version. Sasan is an expert.
We need to cut this.
Kinds of things.
You need to cut this before posting. But yeah, so basically this is the, my PC is not responding very well, but this is basically the book, the main book here. So we will not manage to do everything, but some of your presentations topics would be based on this book. But for the guys who are presenting, I will screenshot those parts and give them before their presentations. This is basically that book. And the second thing about this book is they have their codes online. So if you go to their GitHub page of the book, you will see, like, for each chapter, they have lots of codes available. So they have their own case studies. And the nice thing about the book is that they have the files in R, in Stata, and in Python. So it's up to you which language you want to use for this book. But we usually work on the Pythons. So you can just see how the codes are there, and you can just start from there and yeah, play around with the data. So this is the first book, and the second book is a very famous book, Python for Finance, Mastering Data-Driven Finance. Also have this book myself, but I think you can easily find these books online or just buy it. So this is, yeah. Oh, okay, so it's you, okay. This is the book. They have also their codes online in GitHub. I don't have the link available somewhere, but I'm sure that you will find the links for the GitHub codes of this book as well. And then very slightly, I use the web scraping for Python and applied text analysis with Python. For them, you don't need to have this book at all, because I will try to have my slides already enriched with all the important materials. And this etc. that I have here at the end is, so the good thing about Python programming is that there are many available solutions for free online. So whatever you want to know, you just Google it, and in the first or second link, you will already have your answers. So if you just want to have like a Monte Carlo simulation for a portfolio optimization, just write it, you get it in the second link, I guarantee that. So you don't need to find a book to just do that.
Sazan, do you recommend students to buy the first textbook or to buy any textbook?
No, I don't recommend to buy so if they want, yeah, you can for sure buy it. So the main points about the first book is the Python codes that are available online. And so if there is something important, I will do the screenshots and give to the students. So I don't expect students to buy this.
But initially you said you have only how are these books called?
Notebooks.
Notebooks, yeah. But do you include slides into the notebooks, into the Jupyter notebooks?
Yeah, I'll try to have like enriched notebooks so that people can see all the important things there.
Okay, so PowerPoint is not dead completely.
Yeah, let's see. I will make the best combination. I can do that. Yeah. So like just an overview of the syllabus. So what we are doing. So for the rest of today, I will cover a review of basics of Python programming. And then in the next week, we will work on the data science toolkits. So they are included pandas, NumPy, Matplotlib, and some other visualization libraries that will allow you to do very professional kind of visualizations of a data set. And then we will introduce the first case studies. The first case study is provided by Deloitte. So they will give the case and they will present the solutions themselves 2 or 3 weeks after that. Then we will have an overview over the some statistics and hypothesis testings, but it shouldn't be new for you because you should have already some econometrics courses that you covered them. Still, I will do that. But don't forget that as a student, as a PhD, as a economic students, your main strengths in the market is knowing some statistics and some hypothesis testings. So for the further readings of this course, I gave you one nice paper to read. So this is a paper by Susan Ati, and she is the wife of Guido Imbens, who won the Nobel Prize last week. Oh. Yeah, and they are doing lots of machine learning stuff in Stanford. So this is basically, I recommend you to read this every time before you're going to a job interview. So why economists are the best for the tech companies. And this is basically the main message is that because you guys should know better what is causality and how to do the best statistics. So that's something you need to know in details. So just read this interesting paper, and yeah, in the fourth week we will cover some statistics basically for this. And
well, I read the paper. It basically says why PhDs in economics are the best breed in town, yeah, for being hired by big tech companies or by startups. And of course, Sazan becoming a PhD in economics soon, yeah, is very proud of this article. basically it tells you that there is more than only programming, that makes good data analysis, and why it's only the combination of good economics principles knowledge, understanding of econometric statistics, understanding of economic models behind it, in combination with programming skills and data analysis applications.
Exactly. Yeah. Then basically, we should go for the ways that you can collect data. So that's why we talk about APIs and some website scraping techniques that you can find the data that you need for your questions in mind. Then very important textual analysis. So like I didn't want to cover it here because first of all, we have Professor Alexander Hillert here. He is the best I know in Germany doing textual analysis. So he has a PhD course for this. And but the thing is, when I talk to everyone in the industry to ask them to be in the class presenting, they all told me about their textual analysis things. So that's why I decided to bring it back here. So we will have some textual analysis, and we will do mainly some sentiment analysis, but we will have some guest speakers who talk about more advanced techniques like topic modeling and some machine learning things with textual analysis. And then we will introduce you the third case study, which is like a textual analysis stuff.
What is case study 2?
Case study 2 is about the Robinhood data sets. So I have a data on like hourly data of how many people in the Robinhood, which is like a platform for a commission-free platform for trading, how many stocks do they have, and then I will ask you to do some analysis on that and form some kind of portfolios that let's see if you can beat the market.
So that's an application of hypothesis testing or of website scraping, or what
it's like basically all of them. So you need to add additional data to that in order to be able to test something, but you just need to know some time series stuff as well.
Okay.
That we will teach in the statistics. And then so after the January, we will start with the big data. So most importantly, how you can work with SQL.
That's case study 3.
So case study 3 is like, as I said, this is a textual analysis case study. Like, yeah, and it will be provided by another guest speaker. I just don't know their name yet. So I just, it's through a friend. So they're, but they accepted to have this case study on some sentiment analysis.
By the way, in Frankfurt, there are various informal networks and groups that exchange ideas about all these kinds of topics. And Sasan is a member in almost every of these groups. If you want to get employment in any of these areas in the Frankfurt area, it makes sense to ask Sasan at some point of time, what is the right group to join in order to get the right network and connections of people that apply the kind of stuff that I want to work on.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to help. Exactly. So at the after January, we start with big data, some SQL that you need, and how you use SQL with Python. That's the most important thing. And then if we get some time, we start with machine learning. And for machine learning, I also I would like to start with the concepts like the bias variance trade-off, how good is good. So like, I just don't want you to get into the trap of some buzzwords of using machine learning. And if we get some time, we'll start with lasso, ridge, and trees. And then I'm sure that we won't find the time, but after trees, we will have some deep learnings if we get some time left. Okay, so let's just summarize our goals here. So what I want you to reach after this class is to have an easier life. So what I mean by easier life is that you should be a very good Google searcher. So for whatever problem you get, you should find some genius solutions that are available. And this will be very helpful for you to just make everything easier for you. But in doing so, you need to be very patient, because sometimes you don't find the answers you want, your code doesn't go through. Yeah, I know it could be somehow painful. That's why many people say I hate programming until it works. So after it works, you will be kind of a guy who say I love programming. So that's basically the idea here. Just we have one more slide here on the frequently asked questions that I thought you may probably have in mind. So will the course remains in a Zoom thing or still in the classroom? So it depends on how many students will remain here. So if we get less than 40 students, we will come here and do the whole thing on site. So we will never have a Zoom anymore, hopefully.
Yeah. I think we should clearly specify that we want you to be on the campus. I think talking during the break times, during the session, learning from each other is very important, and therefore you can benefit much more from an on-site classroom exercise. Sasan will from time to time basically ask students how many would come to the classroom, if we would switch to the classroom next Monday. And as soon as the room fits all of us, we will switch to the classroom. Okay. Maybe some of you say, I'm in the course, but I'm sufficient with having a Zoom session from time to time. Maybe even if we have too many students, we may say 50% in week 1, 50% in week 2, something like this. We will clearly switch to the classroom. It's just not yet clear how we can do it within the legal capacity restrictions here. And Sasan already promised to record at least his contributions. So there is no absolute necessity to be in the classroom. On the other hand, you learned that grading depends on contribution and helping each other. And then of course, this takes place in the classroom.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. So like this is already like answering most of the other questions that arise. So what will the course be recorded?
Excuse me, Professor.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but as I noticed, there is a test of Python programming, as you mentioned. So students are asked to take the test, and as you said, we want to do the lecture on the campus. So does it mean that you would fail some of the students and keep the number below 40?
If you can't solve the test, at least Sasan says this is a very easy test. If you have problems with this, you realize that you are not the right students for this class, because you will have too much trouble, too much pain, and the learning progress will be too quick for you. So if you have problems with the test, it's not that we want to keep you out of the classroom. Nobody prevents you from coming to the classroom. But this is a clear message, that your programming skills are simply not sufficient to successfully take place in the class. And I think you should respect this.
Exactly. Yeah. And we cannot force you not to come here, but this is the kind of the minimum thing I can expect you to be fluent in.
I have one question as well. Sorry. So if, for example, there is 50 students, is there a possibility that you have the session in class for 40 students and 10 of them are on Zoom, and then we exchange every 10 of students, and then every 5th week I'm not in class, I'm on Zoom, and then in this way?
Actually, we hope that we won't need this kind of rule, but if the situation is that 50 people want to come to the classroom, we need to find a solution that 10 or 15 must stay home and watch the video recordings.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's basically all these things depends on how many students are there. So at the after the registration deadline, we can come up with solutions. So the paper is on the course web page. So if you go to the course web page, you will find all the links. So, and the course web page is here exactly. So there's just one thing that many of our guest lectures, they won't allow us to record the videos. So in case we have in the classroom thing, we need to also find a genuine solution to that. But if the number of students are less than 40 and we decided to be in the campus always, for sure there would be no recorded video for the guest lectures or for the case solutions. So you like that's we are already in the third question. If the class attendance is expected, required, or controlled. So that's why I expect you to be here or into the Zoom and actively be there. So with open cameras that I can see you and ask you questions. But it is not required. So basically I can only softly control that with the other tools that we have here. So, but we don't like to every day ask how many students are there or something like that. But the most important thing is about the guests, our guests. So I spent a lot of time to convince these people to come here. They usually come with a case. They come with their colleagues. So they're coming for some recruiting opportunities. So I expect you to be there and actively participate into those classes at least. Then the next question is that I do not live in Frankfurt anymore. Can I still take the course? I won't gamble on that. So if you, because the decision will be there after the registration deadline. So after the registration deadline, there, if you have like 60 people there, we say, yeah, we still have some recordings available. So
at least the guest speakers take place only in the classroom. Yeah, and without videotaping, simply because most corporations have a strict video policy, and that as no video may be posted on a public website. And that's why most companies do not allow us to record them. So you would miss an important part of the course if you are not in Frankfurt.
Exactly, and you will find some better courses than ours in YouTube, in Coursera. So basically, yeah, I would stick to them. And are we allowed to work in teams on cases, and what is the plagiarism policy? So the cases are individual assignments. Still, I encourage you to exchange some thoughts and discuss also in the forum. But at the end, the case should be an individual assignment, and that's why what I need for the grading. For the cases, this is something special because yeah, at the end your solution shouldn't be very similar. But for the non-graded exercises, this is actually what you must do. So you need to work in teams. You need to just exchange your solutions, and you should be open with that. For the presentations, we are still not sure how many students are there and how many topics we have. So that's why we are not sure if it is allowed to be in teams. So you like a team kind of presentations. This will be announced also in the third week. And in case we find any plagiarism, we will punish it with a 5.0 at the end with the course grade. So I think
so. It's a kind of difficult balance that you have to keep. When you work on the graded case assignments, of course you are expected to turn in an individual case solution. On the other hand, of course, you are encouraged to discuss the case solution on how to approach it, and to help each other with getting the case done. So a no-go zone is obviously just entering copy and paste solutions of fellow students. That is pure plagiarism. And of course you should not help in too much detail. If somebody has an excellent solution and nobody else got that solution, this will be rewarded because it shows that you really found something yourself. If many students get the have a very similar approach with only small variations, then of course it's if you are the professor, it's clear, yeah, that this was the result of a group discussion, yeah, and which is still okay, yeah, as long as there was enough individual contribution.
Still, like the coding parts are not very important, so you still need to collaborate on the coding part. So if for example, you need some types of graphs that you need some students' help to be able to code this, I'm fine with that. But the interpretation that you will make on this graph at the end is something unique for yourself. So that's something that should be different from the other peers.
Okay, so please make sure, yeah, that a substantial part of your turned-in assignment is strictly individual. Yeah, this is not exactly what other students turned in.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the first part of today's lecture. The second part, I just want to start with the basics of programming. So if you go to the main, like here, to the course web page, you will see that we have the slides here. They are not updated yet, but I will update them after the class. And then you'll see some Jupyter notebooks here. So if you just click on them, you usually get this attention that yeah, you're just forwarding to another link. Exactly. Yeah, you can be sure that I will not hack you. So just click on this. Yeah, and then this will open a Kaggle notebook. So the reason I do it in Kaggle because it has a standard kind of library for all the data analysis that you want to do. You can do it.
Introduce Kaggle in 1 or 2 sentences.
Sure. So this Kaggle is a very important website actually, if you want to have a job in data science. What you can see here, if you go to the Kaggle, you can see always there are data sets. So for example, there are some data sets available, you can search through them. So for example, if you want to do some codings on Bitcoin, which is so you can see, for example, the data set of Bitcoin's historical data. And then you go there and you can see there are 301 codes available online. So there are like some people, some data analysts start working with these data sets, and they already like, I don't know this guy, but let's see. So you can see that how they open this data set. So they got some information, they had some plots, and sometimes you can see that people have lots of discussion at the end of each of their coding parts. And then you can learn a lot how a professional data scientist should approach a data set. You can just focus on the people with the higher ranking. So this is like a bronze guy. So there are like gold and silver guys as well. You can find always. I don't know if I can. So for example, this guy, if you just open it, you can see how complete is this kind of report for this data set. So this is like what the data set is consists of, so many CSV files, and then this is the codes. I don't know why it doesn't run here, but so this is like a machine learning approach for the Bitcoin price, to predict Bitcoin price. So for example, you can already use this kind of codes available. So whatever you can do is like you can copy and edit. So if you're interested in this code, you can just copy and edit it in your own notebook. So then you will start with this, and then you can basically start, yeah. You can just delete parts that you don't like. So this, and then you can just add a code here, like, yeah. You can add a code like print
Yeah, do it step by step. Yeah, so the plus sign is to add code.
Yeah.
I'm a complete idiot in all this. Yeah, where do I have to press the start button to run the code?
So for each part of the codes, you can just start it from here. You can just print something. First, the session is starting with, so it will connect to some backend computation power. So you can see there is some CPU, some hard drive, and so on. I'm not, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then you can see your codes. So you can add code sections or markdown sections.
So basically what you have here is usually you have to install the programming language on your computer to run the software. Yeah, this is basically a web application, yeah, that sends your command, yeah, like print hello, to the cloud, to the Kaggle cloud. Yeah, then the Kaggle is basically interpreting and exercising, yeah, the software and sends you the result. Yeah, it's how do you call this in a web interface to?
Yeah, it's a Jupyter notebook at the end hosted by Kaggle. So it's not Kaggle only to do that. So you can use Amazon AWS servers. You can use Google Cloud Platform. If you have, like, the good thing about Kaggle is that you can always host your code. So if you want more computation power than this, so it gives you a 16 gigabyte RAM and some CPU powers. If you want more, you can just upgrade to Google AI notebooks. And then you can say, for example, I need millions of CPUs. So for a huge computation power, that if
you have to pay,
you need to pay for that. Yeah. But this is for free.
Okay, so all the programming that we do in this class, can this be done on Kaggle alone?
Yes.
So
I suggest also to do all the homeworks also there in the Kaggle, because you can just easily share it with me. You can just share it here. You can just make it public, and then
making ourselves familiar with Kaggle is the first step for every student. Yeah.
So basically,
and the first step is really to use somebody else's code, let it run, see that it produces a result,
exactly,
change it a little bit, to see that we.
This is exactly how you learn at the end. So we can start with our own things that I prepared for this class. So before I start with the codes, I just want to mention that you have the option to have everything locally on your own PC. So for that, I suggest you to install Anaconda with this link that I have here. And after you install Anaconda, you can just, depending on your machine, if you have a Mac, you just open your terminal. If in the Linux, very similar. And then what you need to do is just to write Jupyter Lab or Jupyter Notebook. It's up to you. But and then you can just do this locally on your PC. So this is like something that you don't need to install anymore. So this is basically the same notebook on my own PC. So if I run it here, it will be on my own PC, which is very faster than what Kaggle is usually.
Will we all be able to install Anaconda?
Yeah, Anaconda is like a free software available.
And you do it from Kaggle?
No. Yeah, you have the link here in the Kaggle, but then you just go here and just install it.
Okay, so you just Google for download Anaconda.
Exactly. Download Anaconda installer based on Windows, Mac, or Linux.
And on Kaggle, how do you tell the code that it should run on the local PC and not in the cloud?
No, it's not Kaggle anymore. So you need to have the Python file. If I can find it.
Yeah, but the command, the print command that you just started, was sent to the cloud.
Yeah.
How do you tell Kaggle that?
So one way is to
please now use the local Anaconda.
Yeah, so if you run it, if you open it in the Kaggle website, it will be a Kaggle thing.
Yeah.
If you open it in your Jupyter lab in your own PC, it will be your own PC thing. So it will. So this is the difference. So this is what I have on my own PC as a Jupyter lab. You can have the same thing on Collab. Yeah. So the other options you have is if to use Google Collab. Is very similar to Kaggle. It's just, I don't find it as efficient as Kaggle, but you can also open Google Collab and then just open your notebooks here. So you can just open notebooks. You can just upload the notebook file here, and then you have it here, which is basically very similar. But my suggestion is to start with Kaggle. And yeah, if you have some free time, you just go and find and explore Kaggle libraries, data sets available, and the codes that other people do, and you can learn a lot by looking at them. Okay, so let's start with the basics of Python. So these things that you see here, they are mostly taken from W3 School, which is a website for all kind of programmings. So if you just say W3 School, you can go there, you can learn HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Python. And if you just say learn Python, you basically see all the slides that I prepared today. So you can start from the intro, what is the syntax, how you can make comments, what's the variable types, and so on. Yeah, let me use the remaining time to just go through the things that I think that they are the most important thing. So the first important thing is to just a print command. So you need to just say, I want to print something. And you say print into parentheses, whatever you want to be printed. You can not only also print like kind of a text message, you can also print some numbers, so some calculations. So you can just, I want 2.2 multiplied by 3 plus 1, which is hopefully 7, yeah, to be printed. And one way to just disable some parts of the code, that is something we call commenting. So you can just put a hashtag in front of the part of the code that you don't want to be run. And then these parts are like commented and they are not running when you put this. So this is just the first part that's running now. Next, we go through the types of variables that we have in Python. So the first thing is numbers. So there are several ways to show a number. So you can define a number as like an integer number, like 7, or you can have like a float number, which is like 3.14, or you could also have some complex numbers, so which is like 4 plus 5j, so which is a complex number. You can also define 3 variables at the same time. You can say x, y, and z are equal to 7, 3, and 4. So they are basically the same way of defining variables. And when you define them, you can do several things with these numbers. So for example, you can see what is the type of these numbers. So the type of x that we just had here is an integer. The type of y should be a float. The type of z is a complex. So if you can see that this is an integer number, this is a float, and this is a complex. You can convert the numbers. So x is an integer, but if you say I need a float version of that, you can just say float of x, which is 7.0 now, and you can just easily convert this. And you can also like make the integer of a float number. So y is 3.14. If you say I just need the integer part, which is just 3. The other type of variable that you will have is a string. So a string is like a list of characters that you can see. So for example, a string is called my name, which is Sasan Mansouri with some spaces. You can just print this. So you can just print
But my name is a Python command.
No, it's a variable. This is a variable with some input.
Yeah.
So this is like the data into the stored in
my
the
name is just you declare it to have that.
this value exactly. So you can just print it. So this is like you can print the same thing.
Okay.
You can slice the strings. So for example, you say I need just the first character. So this is like give you the S here. This is like the first part of this string. You can say I need the first two characters. You can get SA. And so there are two ways to do that. You can go it from the first position to the end. You can also start from the last position. So if you say, for example, I need the last three, actually last three characters of this string, you can say -3 to -1, which is just this I at the end with some spaces.
Did you watch the chat?
I need to see it.
Okay, we missed the chat, and Zazan is just reading the last posts.
So for the chats, there is like one important question is like if you have Anaconda installed, no need to use Kaggle. It's all right. Yeah, you don't need it anymore. If everything works there. So I just don't guarantee that every code is running on your PC, but I should guarantee that the codes are running on Kaggle. So that's the only difference. Then for the homeworks that I will show you after the class, you don't need to submit it to me. You just need to post it in Piazza, your solutions, and you should discuss it with the other students. And I will also show you that at the end.
Okay, so one question. The thing that you just show us right now, we all see on Zoom, but if we look on the course website and we go to Jupyter Notebooks, then can we also see it in our browser?
Yes.
And if so,
I
just tried and I was not able to see it. It simply says it is running, for seconds.
So.
And then is it also stored so that after class we
you
can
need to sign in
you?
with your
okay.
Google
I didn't
first.
sign in. Wait. Okay. So I just tried to look at the screen that we see on Zoom also in the web browser in order.
And then you need to copy and edit.
And so the first thing I forgot to sign in with my Google account. I did this.
And then you need to open it and just exactly. This is
Word install.
And
now, okay.
And now you have all the code here.
How many of you, dear students, see on their web browser on the Kaggle website? What Zazan is current is doing
like
right
if
now?
there the best question is like, is there someone that cannot open the Kaggle as I have?
I think everybody everybody's just watching Zoom at the moment. And nobody is yet aware that we can see the whole thing also.
Okay, hopefully you can open this. Hopefully,
maybe you just switch out maybe the first task for all students is to get the same video content that you show on Zoom also on the web browser.
But if anyone cannot open it, just let me know.
And so what was it? The first thing was sign in, with your Google account, and the second was to click on edit. And
let me open this. Like, if you
edit
open this file, you will see such a thing that is running somewhere.
This is the first thing that you get to see after you sign in with your Google account.
Exactly. So you need first to sign in with your accounts. So fortunately, I don't have something here, but you just need to sign in. Okay. And then after you sign in, what you need to do to access the whole thing is to just copy and edit. So there are already 11 students. I can see that they do that. So if you just say copy and edit, then this notebook that I have will open for you. and it will be stored for your own version of codes. So it will be something like this name. So you can just rename it to whatever you want to have it. And then when you open your Kaggle, you will have everything there, like your versions there. So you can just have something additional here. I don't see them, but it will be for yourself.
So for me, this is really a miracle now. I see it. It is my personal copy. You are editing.
Yeah.
When you type in something, I see it on my copy.
No, it's like after, it's so the moment you say copy and edit, it will be just the mirror of that will be on your copy version.
Okay. And you save with.
It will be automatically saved for you in your own. When you log in, it will be your own notebook there.
So if I want to make sure that at the end of the session, everything that you typed in so kindly is also stored on my computer, I just have to.
So you just need to open the link that I have again. So it will be all there into my link. And then you can just copy and edit again, and then you will see the whole thing again.
But probably we actually do not have to do this because you will store this on your website.
But in case you need to add some comments for yourself. So for example, you need to have just something that I need this to be additional note for myself. So you can just have it here locally saved.
A comment is a markdown here. Basically, it says,
you can just mark down.
Okay.
One short organizational question. If we move the class to a physical location, so if we meet in the classroom in real life, will it be a 2G or 3G event? So are we expected to wear masks and stuff? Or
very clear, the whole university is 3G.
Okay.
You must wear a mask.
Okay.
And we will be quite liberal, filling the classroom up with as many people as possible, because we believe that with masks, the risk is low. So if we can organize some chairs from the neighboring, we will make you sit here, because we are not personally afraid of COVID. But if you are afraid yourself, and you are more risk averse, then you must stay home.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Just,
I posted a question in chat. Where should we actually upload the current homework with Fibonacci numbers?
It will be on Piazza.
On Piazza, okay.
You will find it in Piazza.
And should we provide there our Goethe university email, or?
You need to sign off with your matriculation names and your name. So the matriculation ID and your name, that would be easy for me to find you.
Okay, thanks.
One more question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Where can I find exactly the links for registration into Piazza and into Kaggle? Can I find them on the OLAT?
It's on my own page. So
right. So where can I find that?
The only important thing on OLAT is the website.
The link to here.
The link to the website.
If you open OLAT,
once you see this website here that we now broadcast, everything is on there.
Yeah, so if you just open OLAT, you can just there's like an important class location. So this is like the Zoom that you can see and the course web page. That's only thing you need from OLAT.
Can you all see this?
Okay, yes, thank you.
This is like the most
and everything is retrieved from this website. The access to everything, to the forum, the access to all programming that DAFA shows, and basically Zazan is just programming in his Jupyter network, showing and explaining you, and everything is automatically recorded. And after the session, you can have a second look at it, and try to apply it yourself.
Exactly. We had one question, how we can cite online resources that we have. So for example, I have here like one way of doing that just by commenting. So if you want to have more methods on the strings, you can just visit this website. You can just have your markdown here and say just basically You can just have it in a markdown here. See more methods.
I think once you start reading other people's code, you realize that a large part is actually comments, starting with a hashtag. And basically, you can understand code only if you understand the approach, the theory behind it. And these comment codes or markdowns, how they're called here, you can even add PowerPoint slides and whatever pictures and so forth. So it's really, these Jupyter notebooks are a combination of the code, and everything surrounding the code, that explains how we did it, what we did actually, and what other people's code is used and what this is doing. And your task is really to use these comment lines in order to make your code understandable for other people, because the code itself, of course, is like Chinese for many people. It's difficult to interpret unless you're a real expert.
Okay, so next, so this is one way to define a string. If you have a very lengthy string, which is like in many lines, the other way is to have just 3 columns or like or quotes.
It becomes a string simply because of the
just 3 things. So this, if you have 3 here and there, and then you can just in the middle add whatever you want. And just go there, and then at the end it will be like a very long text. And this is another way. If you have, like, for example, a big copy paste from somewhere, you can just have it as a big text in this way. Okay, so the other type of variables that are interesting for us is booleans. So you can just say if it is something is true or false. You can say it in another voice. So if 1 equal to 1, which is a true thing, so Z1 will be a true variable, or you can just say if something is in a text. So if lorem, which is this, into the text, which is all true. So, and then when you print this, for example, variable, I need to first. Then you can print their value if it is true or false, which is a true. The other important type of variables that we will face a lot is our lists. So you can add several data in a list of data. So for example, we could have a fruit list. So we can say apple, banana, and orange. So you can just have like 3 names into a list. You can have some numbers into a list, or you can have a mixture. So you like my mixed list is apple and a number and a Boolean variable. And then you can call it. So you can say what is the last variable that I have like into my mixed list, and then it will be false, which is like is 1 bigger than 1, which is a false thing.
So sorry, can you repeat? -1 is the last element, or what?
Yeah, -1. So if you want to like read it from the last,
from the right, okay, 1 step from the right border,
exactly.
And then it's looking at one larger one, which is a Boolean, and it is false. And you get
you can get the middle one, which is a number. You can just get the first one, which is starting from 0, which is an apple, and so on. So you can work with the list. You can append some other things. So for example, if you have my number list is 1, 3, 4 here, you can add additional variable, like you can just have an 8 here. So then if you append 8, then your list would be 1, 3, 4, and 8. You can remove it. So for example, you can remove the 1 here. Or if you have another list that you just want to make your list bigger with another list, you can just extend another list to that. More interesting thing is the way to sort them. You can just always sort the numbers. So if you add some numbers, then you can sort them to have like, so first we had 1, 3, 4. We added 8 here that we have. We removed 1, so we don't have 1 anymore. We extend the list with 3 other variables, 30, 20, 10, and then we sorted them at the end reversely. So it's like starting from the biggest to the lowest. If you are interested to more kind of things you could do with the list, you can just visit this website. And so I just have a screenshot of the most important things you could do with lists. So you could append, you can count some certain some certain elements and so on. Tuples, you just need to hear the name of them. So they're basically the list. Instead of brackets, they are in the parentheses. So they're like, so usually for the list, we say they are in kind of brackets like this, but tuples are into the to the parentheses. You don't need at the moment to know more of the differences. That's enough. One other important variable type is dictionary. If you have list of things for an observation, for example, if you have a car with lots of observations, so for example, you have the brand, you have the model, you have the year, you have the colors of the car, and you know something about the owner, you can just list everything in a dictionary. Dictionaries are very important because in the future you will see something called JSON, and JSONs are very important when you want to get data with the APIs from other resources, from other websites. So they will be converted in type of dictionaries that you need to work with them. There are methods that you can have for any dictionary. So you can, for example, call, so the dictionary has a key and a value. So for example, for the key brand, we have the value Ford. And then, for example, you can select, show them, for example, show, for example, the year for this dictionary. So it will be 2020. Why not 1964? Because we just updated the value of year for this dictionary with 2020. So that's the logic there. You can delete something here. You can clear it. So just remove everything. Copy, I honestly don't know why we need copy. So you can just create a new variable with that. And like the important things, like as I said, the update, and so you can list all the keys, for example. So you can see you can like just get the list of all the keys here. So for example, if you want to have a loop and go through all of them and so on. Then we talk about the operators. So I need to just hurry a bit. So the operators, so if you want to have an addition, you can just like x plus y, you can subtract, you can multiply with stars, you can divide based by divisions. So there are like some modulus. So for example, if you want to see like I don't know the mathematical explanation of that. So for example, the modulus of 13 on the base of 10 is 3. So you can see how much remains if you just subtract tens and tens and tens from a numbers. This is a great way if you want to, for example, see if a number is odd or even. You can just say if the modulus of a number to 2 is 0 or 1. So you can have the exponentials. So with 2 stars, so 2 to the power of 8 would be 2 stars 8, something like that. And if you want to have a floor division, so you just want the integer part of that, you can just have double slashes. That's it. So I have some examples here. If you have 3, one ways to add, for example, 5 to the 3 is to have like x equal to 3 plus 5. The other way is to have like equal, like plus equal sign. So if you say x plus equal 5, then you will get an 8. So you can also add numbers. Just have a mini quiz for you. What do you think this would be? 1, 3 to the power of 2 divided by 2. So the important thing is that so the order of the variables is so the order of the things So the first order is usually the power. So it will first start with the 3 to the power of 2, and then the multiply or divisions come into the order, which is a division by 2, and then the adding and subtractions. So this will give you 5.5 at the end. And also like the modulus things that I said. So 10 modulus 2 would be 0, which is like an even number. You can also compare things. So if you want to see if some things are equal, then you can have like double equal things. If they are not equal, they should have exclamation mark and equal. If
Sorry, what was the first one?
If
Test if they're equal.
If they are equal. So for
So it
example,
returns
if
true or
1 equal
false.
to 3, yeah, it will give you a false. It will give you a false.
Yeah.
If you have like this, or you can say if it is greater than 1, or like yeah, basically this, which is a true.
Mhm.
Then for the if statements, you have, for example, say x is equal to 5 is if x is bigger than 3, print something, which is a true thing. So because x is 5 and it's bigger than 3, it will print something. You can have more conditions. So for example, if this and this holds, then print this, else if the other thing, then print this, or none of them is true, just print this. Like at the end, this is another way. We have two main type of loops. So the first one is a while. So you could say while something is not true, do this. So I is 1. So while I is less than 6, you can start printing i's and add 1 I in order to reach to the condition. So it will start writing i's before the condition met. And then, for example, I have another mini quiz for you. You can just do it later. Print all even numbers before 10. You can just try. But basically, you need to have a modulus of 2 to make sure if it is an even or not. And then if it is an even, you will print it. Otherwise, you just pass it. So with passing it, you just ignore. So there's like assuming nothing is there. And there's another way of doing that. You can just divide, you can just call it a range. So when you got, say, for example, I have a range of 10, you have basically in A, you will have numbers from 0 until 10. And then you can just say, okay, for A, which is a list of numbers from 1 to 9, each 2 of them, just print them, something like that.
This is easy. This is difficult tricks here.
Well, this is like the basic programming, so that's what I expect students to know.
I think these are tricks that experienced programmers, of course, know by heart. Yeah, but for a beginner, this is quite strange.
Yeah. So, but this is like the type of programming things you need to know. If you know it, for example, in MATLAB, in R, it's the same here.
Yeah. Sure.
So this is like a basic programming knowledge that one need to have. And then in the course, we will build on this, and we teach the students how to use many libraries and packages that are available, and then they can easily combine them and create bigger things that they want. Then there's a for kind of thing. So you can say for x in the range of 6, just print every x in the range of 6. So it starts from 0 to 5, or like, yeah, for I into the list of things. So it's for 4 statements, you always have to, you need to have a list to go through each of these list elements. And finally, very important, functions. So if you have a block of the code that you want to run it over and over, you need to define a function. So for example, here you can define a function that returns the squares of a number. So for example, you just define the number, define the function. So def the square, it, and the input, which is an x. And then it will return you the thing to the power of 2. So if you just define this variable, this function, you can get the square of whatever number. And that's easy. I have a quiz again for you. Unfortunately, this image is not shown here. So basically, I want you to write a function to calculate the Euclidean distance between 2 points. And if you have 2 points, x1, y1, z1, and x2, y2, z2, the formula is straightforward. You need to just make the difference of each of these dimensions. So difference of x, differences of y, and differences of z, and make them to the power of 2, each of them, sum them, and at the end, you need the squared of them. So there are 2 ways to make a squared, so to the power of half, or you can just simply write a squared or something. But I don't do the squared of something, and I will tell you in a moment why I don't do that. Yeah, that's basically the way you define the function. And then you can just, yeah, for any given 2 points, for any A and B as an input, you can just run it, okay? And you get the distance. So some codes need to be a stupid proof in order to, like, in a case that someone call your function with the wrong parameters. So for example, if there is not a number here, the code will just stop it. So assume that you have a big project somewhere, and this is a very tiny thing that you could just pass if things didn't go through. But if there is an error raising here, then the whole program will stop. So in order to make sure that these problems never exist, you can just use a try except thing. You can always put the block of the code in a try. So you can try it. If this didn't go through, you can just, yeah, you can raise an exception here. Yeah, print, check the validity of the inputs or something like that. If you do this, this code will not stop with an error, but it will just print something for you. So this is basically all the important things that I wanted you to have refresh your minds on the basics of programming. For the next session, I expect you to at least be fluent in running the codes. So be like comfortable with the Kaggle, how we can start with things and so on. If there was any question, please post it in Piazza. I or other students will go and answer it. But for the next session, I prepared a kind of a quiz for you. Homework. And the homework is to calculate the DCF of a company. So so the discounted cash flow is like a very standard model. I hope you all know it. So this is the formula for this. So you have the enterprise value of company based on these summations. And the terminal value is this formula here. So I broke it to several functions. So first, you need to have the PV of t. So for any years in the future, you should be able to calculate the present free cash flow. And also for the terminal value, based on this formula, you should be able to fill this. And then finally, you'll have a big function. This is a DCF of a current free cash flow and a current VAC and a gross assumptions that you have. And it will return you the free cash flow sum.
Well, this looks like the solution. Do we have the solution when we do the homework?
I have it locally here. Okay. Yeah, this is like, yeah, the homework with solution is available, but I don't want to show it now.
Okay.
But at the end, yeah, you need to be able to run this code. So after you created this function and everything works, I hope you can run this and get a number.
Yeah.
And then post your numbers in Piazza forum. It's here. So this is exactly what I asked you to have.
Yep.
Then you just go there and post your numbers. If you didn't manage to do that, just ask the other people. So there should be some students that could share their code, how they wrote it. I don't mind how much you want to share here. So yeah, these exercises are not graded. So it's just there for you to like collaborate and be engaged into the course.
Yeah. Okay, so every student will, after the course, go to the website, yeah, click on the Kaggle Jupyter Notebook link, find the homework, or here, click here on the homework, yeah, find the homework assignment, yeah, then copy and edit something.
Copy
right?
and edit, yeah.
Yeah, have their own version, do some coding, and hopefully find a useful solution.
Yeah.
And then you post the solution to the forum, or you
I
post
will
your
discuss it in the
questions.
beginning of
Yeah.
the next session.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so hopefully before the next session, we get to know how many students successfully mastered the task or had problems, and whether the forum was able to solve some of these problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, that sounds reasonable.
We have 4 things in the chat. So will the course start at 10 sharp and end at 12 sharp, or start at... So that's a good question. I will try to start at 10:15, like a normal course, but it could be the case that like today we have to stay until 12. So this is this question. I don't know what's 5.5 there.
No, that was the solution to your first question, to the function.
Okay.
Marco was
Great.
the first one to
Yeah.
calculate it.
Should we attend this course even if we didn't register this course? Yeah, feel free to attend, but in case the number of students are lower than 40, then we will do it.
Yeah,
not-
everybody is always invited to the classroom as long as we have enough chairs for everybody.
Exactly.
And I fear that we have only chairs for registered students.
That's exactly the thing. On Thursday, do we have tutors? Yes, it is also. We don't have it this Thursday. It's next Thursday, as far as I know. So we don't have anything this Thursday. At least in my calendar, there's no such thing.
Where do we find out?
Yeah, I think each 2 weeks we have this
okay,
Thursday.
yeah.
So this week is not there. So next time we see each other is on 25th, Monday. Next Monday, we will see each other.
The dates are all on OLAT.
Yeah.
And it says exactly what, every second week Thursday and every Monday.
Yeah. Is it possible to deregister after 27th October? No, I don't think so.
Well, this is all Prüfungsamt stuff. Yeah?
Yeah.
We never should answer any Prüfungsamt question because we are
Yeah.
legal idiots. We suffer from the same problems than you. Yeah, when you miss a deadline at Prüfungsamt, that's your problem.
Yeah, that's exactly there. So if there's no other questions, yeah, thanks a lot for your participation and hope to see you on Monday. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Thumbs up.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.